Real guys, real sport, Bar TV.
Australia's leading sports organisations have made a pledge to tackle youth binge drinking.
Now when you're watching your favourite sports, like football,
swimming, basketball,
netball
and athletics,
you'll see this logo.
It's all about coming together to have a positive influence on our drinking culture.
We're strong enough to say enough.
and you can be too.
Back your judgment.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Be the influence.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could.
This is for the players. For those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are. For everyone who has triumphs, tips and tricks to share.
Who love to play with complete freedom. This is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players. This is PS4.
Hello and welcome to round 15 of the NPL on Bar TV. Today we're at Arthur Eden Oval and today's match shapes up to be an absolute ripper. It's first versus second. The best two sides in the competition will do battle this afternoon live on Bar TV. After a slow start to the year, Lambton have started their engine and are now undefeated in their last 9 matches. Their last defeat came against their opposition today, Edgeworth, back in round 6. A 2-1 defeat, even though Lampton had a one-man advantage for most of the game. Edgeworth had a winning streak of 9 wins in 10 matches before their last start loss to Adamstown. Has their momentum been finished, as has happened to Broadmeadow and Hamilton after their undefeated runs ended, or will it be the kickstart they need before the finals? This is going to be one hell of a battle, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the biggest game of the year so far on Bar TV, the home of grassroots sport. So I'll just run through the team lineups. For Lampton in goals, number 1, Brad Swancott. Number 2, Tom Smart. Number 4, Kevin Davidson. Number 5, Pete McPherson. Number 6, Joe Wheelhouse. 7, Riley McNaughton. 8, Alex Palozzi. 10, John Majerowski. 11, Luke Remington. 12, Grant Brown. And 19, Michael Sessions. On the bench, 3, Michael Williams. 9, Michael Bridges. 17, Jamie Burns. 18, Hucken Carnley. And 20, Nate Cavalieri. For Edgeworth, in goals, number 24, Ben Smith. Number 3, Aaron McLaughlin. Number 4, Aidan Bryce. 5, Cameron Hughes. 6, Luke Walker. 8, Josh Evans. 9, Brodie Taylor. 10, Keanu Moore. 11, Dylan Holes. 15, Pat Wheeler. 16, Lockie Pasquale. And on the bench, number 7, Bren Hamill. 12, Brenton Olzema. 13, Aaron Pritchard. And 23, Jake Fairhall. Joining me in commentary today is former Maitland and Lake Macquarie coach Chris Turner. And Chris, it's great for you to be with us this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me along, and it should be good fun.
What are your thoughts on this afternoon's proceedings?
What I do think is that today's potentially this has got the shape to be one of the best games of the season today, and depending on how it pans out, I think we could well see it. Great conditions and good crowd in too.
Yeah, no, we were here a couple of weeks ago, Hamilton and Lambton. It wasn't one of the greatest games of the year. It was a 0-0 draw, so hopefully we get a better game today. Aiden Bryce in the middle of the park. Keanu Moore also there, awaiting the start. So just about to get underway. And Edgeworth look forward and across to the left-hand side, going down towards it was Grant Brown. He was injured in the last match that Lampton played out here against Hamilton, but back for this one this afternoon. A little flick over the top, Riley McNaughton and Edgeworth over on that far side of the ground. Cleared away again by Brown. Pasquale across the ground. Getting a foot in was Michael Sessions. Lampton, Chris, had Michael Sessions and Tommy Smart out at the start of the season. How big a loss were those two players for them?
They're both great players, and in fact they're very solid in their workloads as well. So when you bring those two guys back into the team, they make a contribution to the way the team's been going in recent weeks. That's for sure. I mean, if you have a look at the two sides overall, I think there's a lot of quality individuals in both sides, but I think you can probably sum them up by one side being Edgeworth's got a lot of mobility. You look at them and you know they're going to go all day, and they're quite explosive, especially through the middle of the park. But then you look at Lambton, where they've got a real balance of actual real good close ball control footballers. And so when you balance that off, you're going to have some real deep good skill in Lambton versus some high mobility in Edgeworth. And so it'll make it really interesting to see how the two teams cope with each other in those tight areas of the game.
Well, here's Dylan Hulse squaring it across the ground, looking for Aiden Bryce, who's been moved up the field. He was playing in defence at the start of the year. Luke Remington to Majorowski, back to Remington. Cross to Majorowski, who scored last week against Broadmeadow. Their 2-0 win at home. Brodie Taylor looking over the top, but Brad Swancott will gobble that one up inside his own 18-yard box. And yeah, Chris, you were speaking a moment ago about the mobility of Edgeworth. They were down to 10 men last time they met Lampton. It was 0-0 at that point in time, and they went on to win the game 2-1. And Damien Zane was talking about how the fact that his side was so mobile was why they were able to play well with 10 men.
Yeah, I think they're definitely that sort of side that are capable of doing it. And when you're as fit as what they are, they're going to be able to pull that type of result off. You're having a look at Lambton across the middle of their park, particularly with Wheelhouse and Pete McPherson. Depending on how much those two get on the ball this afternoon is going to have a real impact on where this one goes.
Well, it's back to Pete McPherson now, and he's in the middle of the park. Yeah, they're two of probably the best midfielders in the competition, those two. Yeah,
I've actually coached Pete before, and getting to know him well as his personality and also in his gameplay. His ability to control the ball close range is as good as you're going to see.
Of course, he played for Lake Macquarie back in 2013. Were you coaching Lake Macquarie back then?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
As going down the right-hand side, it's going to be a goal kick. Ben Smith with the injured his hamstring last week, but he's back in for this one today.
Yeah, so the news on Ben is he's got a grade 2 tear in his hamstring, and he's answered his coach's request to come in and do that job for him. So hopefully get through the game okay today.
Here's Tommy Smart going back to Wheelhouse. Goes across the ground looking for Alex Palozzi. Just couldn't control as well as he'd like to, and Lampton are going to get the throw anyway. Grant Brown goes to Palozzi. Goes down, referee says play on, and Keanu Moore after it. Davidson clears it up towards Ben Smith. Edgeworth slip over the shot from Palozzi. Saved well by Ben Smith. A hairy moment early on for Edgeworth there, Chris.
Oh, well, I can't believe you can't give him an opportunity like that, and he's going to put those away most times. So big let off for Edgy right there.
Here's the ball in, headed away there by Edgeworth. Over to Palozzi again. Had a lot of ball early on in this one. Puts it on his left now. Goes to Majorowski. Try to cut inside. He says it's come off Edgeworth. It has, and it's another corner kick for Lambton.
You know, if Lambton keep on the ball like they are, you can imagine they're only going to get more possession as the game goes on. You would think naturally, but you know, they certainly had a good piece of it early.
So Alex Palozzi running over and take this corner as well for them. Doing the rounds on both sides. Almost 5 minutes gone. Still 0-0 at Arthur Eden Oval. Here's Joe Wheelhouse. Goes for a long-range shot, but was too towards the near stick and goes over and hits the side netting. And it'll be another goal kick for Ben Smith.
So interesting on their team lineups today, the way they get shaped up. Lambton running with a 4-3-3 combination there.
Here's another defensive mistake, that time from Pat Wheeler. Josh Evans slipping over a moment ago, and Palozzi couldn't put it away. Ben Smith with the save, so they've had a couple of nervous moments at the back, at the back in defence. Brodie Taylor, now with Wheelhouse, takes it off Luke Walker, across the ground. Palozzi on the ball. Can he go round? He does well, Alex Palozzi. Trying to put the ball in, he does so. Looks for Majorowski, controls nicely. Just didn't get to his foot. Edgeworth were in there quickly and did well to defuse the situation, but it's Wheelhouse across to Tom Smart again. Still with Smart, back to Wheelhouse. Wide again to Smart. Coming across at him with Hughes, but it's still Smart on the ball, down towards the left corner, back to McNaughton. Wheelhouse goes way across the ground and back to Grant Brown. Goes over towards the sideline. And apparently it's gone over the sideline. Edgeworth with the throw. Just lacking a little bit of polish there from Lambton, Chris.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was just saying a minute ago about the combinations. So, yeah, Lambton with a 4-3-3 and Edgeworth playing with 4 at the back, 2 holding midfielders, 1 sitting above and 3 up front. So it'll be interesting when the game really settles in to see how they're going to balance each other off in those 2 formations.
Well, here's McPherson going to Majorowski. McNaughton just ran away from him a little bit, and Keanu Moore. Brodie Taylor now, Cameron Hughes. Goes down the line looking for Keanu Moore, who's slipped over. A couple of players slipping over out there. I didn't check out the pitch before the game, but would be a little bit damp. We had a bit of rain last night and through yesterday as well, so it could be a little bit slippery underfoot.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it, and you can tell that's the case because we've had a couple of errors up in the Edgeworth area where guys have slipped and made some error because of it.
One thing I noticed, we were at Magic Park a few weeks ago. Sometimes that side under the grandstand as well at Edgeworth as well. You get a bit of the ground that's still very wet, even though you've had a few days of sunlight. That grandstand really blocking off some of the sunlight late in the afternoon, which shouldn't be the case here at Arthur Eden because there's no grandstand really blocking the sun. So the pitch probably not as damp as what Magic Park or Jack McLaughlin are this weekend. And now McNaughton goes to Remington. Back to McNaughton. Cross the ground. Alex Palozzi getting across. Can he keep it inside the far sideline? He doesn't do so. And Edgeworth will get the throw over there. Josh Evans looking for Aiden Bryce, and that'll go over the sideline. Grant Brown over there about to take the throw. One thing I think Edgeworth probably were lacking at the start of the season, if you could say that after they had such a great start, was probably some tall timber up front. That's, I think, what Damien Zane's done with Aiden Bryce. He was playing at the back, and with Brodie Taylor and Keanu Moore, they're not the tallest, so putting Aiden Bryce there's really helped Edgeworth. He scored 2 goals in the last match we did at Jack McLaughlin Oval against Hamilton. They won 3-1. caused a bit of an upset and
Yeah.
ended Hamilton's undefeated run.
Yeah, I spoke to Damien Zane last night, and he's giving me a bit of rundown on Bryce, and he said that he scored those 2 goals. He got man of the match that day, and the other interesting thing, he said that he's only been playing this game for 5 years, and he was playing rugby league before that. So that's quite impressive, because, you know, as a child and as a kid, you go through and, you know, that's where you grind your skills out in those years. So for him to do what he's doing now, then playing the middle of the back, and now he's up front, good news for them.
Yeah, that's right. It's amazing. He has the touch of... Normally the rugby league players don't have the touch with their feet that the players that have come up the grades playing football have. So it's interesting, very interesting that he's only been playing for 5 years.
Yeah, well, it's very rare, mate. You don't see it, and certainly not at this level.
Well, there's Aiden Bryce having a shot, goes wide, and goal kick is going to be for Brad Swancott now for Lambton.
Happy birthday the other day for Brad.
How old's he turning?
He was a young 36.
36?
He's probably going to play for another 10 years. You ask him, he'll probably play for another 10 minutes after today's game.
Well, he was our man of the match 2 weeks ago against Hamilton. First Lambton Jaffas player to win the Das Hundhaus Pork Knuckle Award for man of the match.
So
he made history.
Aside, you know, he deserves it. He's been a great footballer, in his national career, and he's been a great player in Sydney a long time, and he's been great for this local league as well.
He played 25 games in the NSL for the Breakers, but we'll go now to Brodie Taylor, who's going to try and put Swancott under pressure, cuts it back on the inside. Tom Smart's there. Brodie Taylor gets back on it. Tom Smart's touch just a little bit heavy. And now with Michael Sessions. Looking up the line, Mad Jurovsky does well. Holds off Pat Wheeler and goes to Remington, back to Smart. And now Pat Wheeler again on the ball. And going across to Pasquale. Brodie Taylor's lost his boot. Sessions is going to watch this one run down, so he's going to put it back on. There he is. And back to Brad Swancott. He goes short to Sessions. Still hasn't done up his shoelace. Wheelhouse. Back to Tom Smart. Wheelhouse again. And Lampton with a throw. What have you made of the opening 11 and a half minutes, Chris? Really good defence so far from Lampton. Edgeworth a little bit sketchy at times.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with that, and it's obviously a bit slippery underfoot, so it's making ball control a little bit harder. I was just noticing John Madrowski before. His ability to hold the ball up could come into play on a day like this.
Ball go down, another goal kick. Yeah, John Madrowski's done very well so far, holding the ball up in the 18 and just near halfway.
His ability to roll players on either side of his body and direct the play before he receives the ball is fantastic, and there's not many guys that can do it like he can.
Leaves Brodie Taylor chipping it across towards the back post. Holtz and Grant Brown also there. Grant Brown saying, no, it's a goal kick, and the referee agrees.
Just back to Swancott. Swanee, he's a big game player, and he'll know how important this one is today for their chance of the premiership. So I'm expecting when the pressure's on, he'll be there to beat his best.
Well, locally, he played for Western in 2004, Lake Macquarie 2011, and Hamilton in 2013-14. He also played down at Manly, I believe.
That's correct.
In the Sydney competition.
Sure did.
I didn't put that one down, but I was doing a bit of research, and I think I remember that one. There's a little shove in the back over there from Riley McNaughton on Aaron McLaughlin. And Edgeworth are going to try and take it quickly. Dylan Holtz getting over there.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of working with him at 2011 at Lake Macquarie, and he was a big reason for the club's success that year. He was very, very strong.
Well, here he is stabbing it towards the middle, Dylan Holtz. Remington did well to get across there, Pasquale. And now McNaughton going in. McPherson. Palozzi now. McNaughton looking across the ground, but didn't get his pass where he would have wanted it there. And it goes straight to Ben Smith. Most of the play probably been down Lampton's defensive end in the last few moments, so Edgeworth just doing well to keep the pressure on Lampton. Aiden Bryce clearing it towards the sideline. Hughes with the throw. Goes to Bryce. Goes over the top for Brodie Taylor. Tommy Smart. Brodie Taylor does well to knock it back in, but there's no Edgeworth plays in there. Pasquale to Keanu Moore. Aiden Bryce hits an absolute stunner of a volley and silences the home crowd. Well, that's probably the goal of the year so far on Bar TV, Chris.
Oh, that was an absolute cracker. We were just talking about Swancott. Nothing he could do about that. Absolutely nothing. And a great strike. Popped up beautifully for him, and he just absolutely hammered it.
Well, Brad Swancott could do nothing except watch that ball go over his head and into the back of the net. What a start for Edgeworth now. Remington now trying to get Lampton back into the game. First goal on Bar TV in, I believe, 190 minutes. Getting a bit fiery out there, Luke Walker.
Yeah, that decision may have been a little bit tough for Lambton. A bit hard to tell from here, but it certainly looked like there was something in that. Pace has just quickened up a little bit as well.
Grant Brown, further adding to our plaudits that we were giving to Damien Zane for putting Aiden Bryce up there. Brad Swancott. Josh Evans. Keanu Moore now. Goes down. And we're going to see a yellow card come out. Believe it was Grant Brown. I didn't actually see. We'll have a poll in my way, so I didn't see who made the challenge. Was it Grant Brown there, Chris?
I couldn't pick it from here either, mate. Sorry. It's on the other side of the pitch.
I'm going to go with that. Edgeworth with the 1-0 lead. 15 and a half gone. Aaron McLaughlin with the free kick. Brad Swancott lets that one roll into his chest. We haven't had as I said a moment ago, Chris, we haven't had a goal on Bar TV the last two matches, but it's just so important, I think, if you get an early goal, it sets up the match to be a really exciting one because both sides have to then go at each other very hard.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? You've seen the pace of the game pace has changed instantly, straight from the goal.
Here's Dylan Hulls. That feeling of, here's Luke Walker now across to the left-hand side. When I played, not very well, but that feeling when you've scored a goal is one of the best feelings. You just feel like you have tons more energy than you did before.
Yeah, I think it's called adrenaline, mate.
That's right. Here's Majerowski.
So we were talking about Madger before. He just holds the ball up. He's able to do that until the play catches up and roll it off.
Here's Remington going down the left-hand side. Wheeler, a little bit of a bump on Remington. Down the line, Sessions. Majerowski, and over the sideline throw goes Edgeworth's way. Hughes up the line. Little flick on from Aiden Bryce, looking for Keanu Moore. Joe Wheelhouse. Still with Wheelhouse. And that one's run over the sideline off an Edgeworth player. Brown with the throw.
I was talking to Dave Tanch this morning and he was telling me about the firepower in their team. Well, he didn't use that word, but I'll call it that because they've got plenty of it. And I asked him about his goal scorers. He said Majerowski's got 9, Remington's got 6, Wheelhouse has got 5, Plotsy's got 5, and Riley has got 4. So Riley McNaughton's got 4. So there's plenty in this Lampton team to bring a couple back from here.
Yeah, that's right, and that's what I was expecting. We've seen matches throughout the year that Lampton have played and plenty of goals. They've scored 31 this year, which is second in the competition behind Broadmeadow Magic, who scored 34. Wheelhouse goes down.
He's played advantage there.
They're going to play advantage. Tommy Smart down towards the byline now. Cam Hughes came across. Great tackle from him. Knocks it up the ground. Wheelhouse was looking to go back to Tommy Smart, but it's now with Moore. Back to Walker. Looking for Brodie Taylor. McPherson. Turned over. Now with Bryce. Holes. Back to Pasquale. Been a revelation in the midfield for Edgeworth this year, Lockie Pasquale. He was, according to Damien Zane, going to be playing in the 22s or the 19s, and now he's pretty much a regular first grader. He's played a lot of games this year for Edgeworth after Luke Walker was injured and they had to find a replacement, and he's been very well suited to playing
I've seen
out
him
there.
play a couple of times now, and he's the sort of guy that in the attacking third of the park, he looks pretty dangerous, and he's going to penetrate things and make sure, he puts himself in position to score as much as he can. So, good pick up from Zaney there. He's doing well for them.
Well, here's the free kick just going wide there. Closer than what I first thought. Some worrying times for Lampton. They've been on such a good winning run that, as they say, Chris, every time you win, you get closer to your first loss. So
Sure is. I was going to say about Swancott before that ball was absolutely ripped past him. One of the biggest attributes that he has is his ability to organise defences. And so if you listen to this guy, he's very clear in his instruction. He's telling his defenders where to go, where to be, and they're listening for him all of the time. And so he'll dictate where his guys are going to be. And he pretty much doesn't stop all game.
There's Michael Sessions almost slipping over. It's about the fourth time we've seen someone slip over out there today.
Gee, that's a strong defensive tackle there from Sesho.
He was off balance and just got his foot down.
Look, there's a lot of guys that would have gone straight through, but not him.
He's an attempted through ball. Edgeworth not getting on the end of it. But head-to-head, their last 5 meetings between these two sides. Lambton have won 3, 2 draws. Lambton won 3, I should say, just a 1 draw. That was 2014. Here it was 0-0. And Edgeworth, just a 1 win in the last 5 matches, which was this season. So it's been tough for them when they've come up against Lambton the last few seasons for Edgeworth. Throw over on the far side for Grant Brown. Didn't have their best season last year, Chris, did Edgeworth. They finished 5th, got knocked out by Charlestown in the first week of the finals.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they're a side that's always, almost for as long as you can remember, have been very strong. At this level, there's not much in it, and so I think they were a victim of that. There wasn't much in it, and unfortunately for them, they just didn't quite fire at the right time.
Well, the final series is going to be so interesting this year. All 4 sides that will be in the finals, whoever it is, Broadmeadow just outside at the moment of the top 4. But whoever gets there, it's anyone's game, really. The 2 legs, anyone can win that, and it's going to be a wonderful final series. We've got every match here on Bar TV, so it's going to be very exciting to see the top 4 do battle. Most likely, it'll be one of those top 5 that are at the moment. I think there's a big gap back to, well, not too big. Adamstown 4 points behind Broadmeadow, but in terms of getting to 4th spot, Adamstown are 7 points back, and that's going to be hard over the last 4 rounds of the competition to get that back. I think Adamstown have underachieved this year, but the amount of injuries they've had, it's been tough on them.
Well, Adamstown are playing against Maitland today, as you see Palozzi on the ball here. So we're going to get some updates from that game as we go as well, Ben.
Yeah, we'll see how they go up there. Maitland, with a great performance last week, played most of the game with 10 men, a 0-0 draw up at Western. Here's Palozzi going top left corner. That's an absolute cracker of a free kick. Alex Palozzi scores again for Lampton. And it's 1-1 at Arthur Eden, and we're being treated to some wonderful goals this afternoon, Chris.
What a great goal from Alex there. Gee, he's a talent, this boy. I've known him for a long time. In fact, Alex's dad, Angelo, I went to school with Angelo, and he was an absolute talent himself, one of the most skillful players you see. And so when Alex came into this NPL, or what was the state league at the time, I was really excited about seeing this boy, and he just hasn't disappointed. The combinations between him and Majerovski as the afternoon unfolds is going to be really important. But what a strike from Palozzi there.
6th goal of the season for Alex Palozzi. Brad Swancott. Another goal kick after that ball from Pasquale ran over the byline. What a year he's having this season. Played for Edgeworth in 2013 and came up through the New South Wales Institute.
Yeah, clear foul on Majerovski there.
Yeah, early on, Pat Wheeler was all over him. I didn't see who committed the foul there, but they're going to have a tough job keeping Majerovski off the ball this afternoon. Edgeworth at the back. Evans gets away from Palozzi.
Yeah, especially the ground's a little bit slippery and the ball's going to skid a bit. Majerovski's got so many good, neat little touches. He's going to be really dangerous, and that, as I said before, you've got people that are sitting in behind him like Job and McPherson.
Little ball over top for Grant Brown, looking for Majerovski. Josh Evans now. Up the line. Brown getting in there again. He's done a lot of work, Grant Brown, in this one today. Sessions off the side of his boot. Towards the sideline, it's off McNaughton and Edgeworth with the throw. So almost 25 gone. It's Lambton 1, Edgeworth 1. Round 15 of the NPL on Bar TV this afternoon.
And let's not forget Riley McNaughton in the midfield there for Lambton. He's another player that's very exciting. I think he's been at the club for as long as I can remember. He said I think he might have even played his juniors here. I could be wrong on that one, but he's been in and around it for the last few years, and this year's really cemented his spot.
Keanu Moore with some space down the right-hand side, cuts it across goal. Dylan Holtz wasn't quite there. Back to you, Chris. What were you? Sorry to interrupt there.
No, that's all fine. I was just saying that he's really taken his opportunity this year, and you put yourself in his shoes. You're playing in a midfield with Joe Wheelhouse and Peter McPherson. You've got to be on top of your game to be playing it with those guys, and I think he's more than holding his own.
Just looking at the home and away records, Edgeworth this season, they're on top in terms of the home table. They've played 7 matches at home, 5 wins, 2 losses. All sides have played 7 at home, apart from Charlestown, who are down the bottom. So yeah, Edgeworth definitely clearly out in front on the home table. In terms of the away table, Edgeworth in second place. Western the best away side this season. Lampton down in 4th, but they're at home today. Their home record is 8 matches played, 5 wins and 3 draws. So Lampton yet to be defeated at home this season. It's funny, Edgeworth have had the 2 defeats at home, yet they've got the equal amount of points as Lampton at home. Luke Walker off the side of his boot. Now Keanu Moore again down the right-hand side. Swancott comes out, plays it across the face. Holtz just couldn't get there in time. And Grant Brown does well. I should say Lampton would be at the top of the home table, including the Jets youth matches as home matches. It's hard because they play 2 matches against the Jets youth, both at their home grounds, and one's counted as home and one's counted as away. So they haven't lost here at Arthur Eden this season. Here's Holtz. The shot, and Swancott will grab it just outside his 6-yard box.
Bit of a let-off there for Lambton in that previous movement. If Holt had been a little bit closer, it was pretty much it was there for the tap-in. So just a bit of timing. And big congratulations to he and his partner, Matty, who've had a little baby boy yesterday, I'm told.
That's
so
great.
Congratulations, you two.
Would have been even better if he was able to put that one in, as Cam Hughes lets it run back to Pat Wheeler. Turns inside, and McNaughton goes in, and Edgeworth with another throw. Yeah, Lampton this season they've averaged 2.2 goals a game, average conceding 1.3. For Edgeworth, they've average scoring 2 and average conceding 1.1. So Lampton with a better attack, just slightly, and Edgeworth just slightly with a better defence. And the foul will go Lampton's way. Just inside, probably about 10 metres inside their own, 15 metres inside their own half. Wheelhouse across the ground for Davidson. Played for the Australian under-17 side in Turkey, and also played for Adamstown in 2013. Did Kevin Davidson as Holtz cutting across the ground. Palozzi goes to McNaughton. Looking back for Wheelhouse, but Keanu Moore was too quick and got in there. Then Luke Walker gets absolutely crunched between Majerovski and McNaughton. Pat Wheeler on the far left now. I shouldn't say Pat Wheeler, I should say Aaron McLaughlin. And Josh Evans trotting back. He's got no pressure on him, Josh Evans. McNaughton up the ground. McLaughlin. And now Grant Brown again intercepts. Seems like he's been given a license to push forward this afternoon, Grant Brown. Chris?
Yeah, he maybe has. I mean, you're expecting your defenders, your left and right side guys to be involved in the game. I mean, they're not just going to sit in deep, and wait things to come at them. Part of their role is to get forward and involve themselves in attack. And if you can get your defenders overlapping like he's been doing, then it certainly bolsters your strike force.
Well, Alex Palozzi looks like he's dropped back to right back for the moment. He did a lot of hard work early on in the game.
Yeah, he's just catching a breather, mate. He'll work his way, and they'll just swap, as you can see.
As he is some space, Joe Wheelhouse with a shot, not one of his best. Sprays off the side of his boot and into the crowd. And Ben Smith with a goal kick goes short to Hughes. Up the line.
That's just slid off his boot slightly, but he may get away
Now
with that.
some space for Aiden Bryce, but it's gone over the sideline.
Ooh. Bit of banter between the coaches here on the sideline. Love it.
Tom Smart. Now towards Maturowski. Something normally you don't get to see when you're commentating because you're normally high up, so it's always funny seeing when you're down here on the ground. Remington cutting it across. Maturowski just slid past him. Pasquale. Aiden Bryce back to Hulse over the top. Brody Taylor was
clearly offside.
Well, he was about from here to Sydney offside, I think, there.
Well, we're pretty much in line with it, so no issues here.
Tom Smart.
No complaints off the bench either.
Down the line, yeah, there was no whinging at all. Pat Wheeler knocking this one over the sideline. Smart. Squares it across to Maturowski. Runs past him, Dylan Holtz getting across. Up the line, goes to McLaughlin. Scored 2 goals this season, Aaron McLaughlin. Grant Brown. Wheelhouse now. I think enough said with Joe Wheelhouse. Played 106 A-League matches for the Jets. 7 goals for them, and he's scored 4 goals this season for the Jaffas.
He's been a huge pickup for Lambton. When he came in initially, it was just something that the club, I know, were very excited about. In fact, the whole league was excited about it.
Now Keanu Moore. Lovely little skill from Keanu Moore. Played it across to Aiden Bryce, who wasn't awake to it at the time, and Brad Swancott plays it out, gets thumped by Aiden Bryce. Swancott goes down. He's going to get himself a yellow card. Swancott just gingerly getting up.
We were talking about his birthday the other day. It doesn't get any easier as you get older to get up. And the same before, he may feel that one well after the game and into tonight.
Don't know if maybe he knocked knees with Aiden Bryce and all that. It's one of the most painful things to do, knocking knees with someone. So looks all right. Normally there's a bit more of a limp when you do that. So
yeah, he's okay.
He looks all fine. Just a little bit of a bump. Goalkeepers aren't normally used to that, so they take a little bit longer to get up than most of the on-field players.
Yeah, he'll feel that one tomorrow, don't worry.
John Majerowski. Bryce now, Keanu Moore. The little lovely touch from Hayden Bryce again. Joe Wheelhouse. Tom Smart getting in there as well over the sideline. Edgeworth with the throw. Hughes with a long throw down the line. Brody Taylor. Wheelhouse comes at him. Stabs it across the ground. And Grant Brown was there with the header. Alex Bolsey just let it run a little bit further than what he would have liked. And now a lovely ball across to Grant Brown. Brown cutting inside. Coming up the ground again from that position of right back.
He really ran out of options there. The play, he'd gone beyond the play and there wasn't much there with him and couldn't find Majerowski.
His first year with the Jaffas, he played for Manly and in the Mariners Academy to Grant Brown. How much do you know about Grant?
Yeah, look, all I know is that he did come out of that youth academy, but I don't know much of him, to be honest.
He's been a prominent feature in Lampton's side this year. McPherson across the Sessions, across to John Majerowski, backtracks, turns around. Aaron McLaughlin getting over there, try and put some pressure on him, and Majerowski wins the throw. McNaughton going across to take it. McPherson and Majorowski just offside, and Edgeworth with a relieving free kick.
Pete McPherson's really starting to put himself into some little holes, so the game's settled in now. This is when he comes out. He's known for waiting till the dust settles before he comes out to really play. You know, he'll be there from the start, don't get me wrong, but when things slow down and settle in, that's when Pete comes out.
Here's Edgeworth with Holtz on the far side. Turns it over, McNaughton. Nice skill to evade a few Edgeworth players. Majorowski goes down, referee says play on. Pasquale across to Hughes now. Hughes on this near or right-hand defensive side for Edgeworth, and he's put it over the sideline. John Majorowski still down on the far side of the ground.
Yeah, he hasn't got up in a hurry. Although we haven't seen anyone warm up, but just looking at the talent they've got on their bench, they've got Harkin Canley, Jamie Burns, Mickey Williams. And I'll tell you, young Mick Williams is probably unlucky not to be in this side. I mean, this guy, he's 17 years old, but he's a player of the future. And I think pretty much any other side he'd be in it right now, but it's just finding it a bit tough to crack into this one. But he'll get his chance, that's for sure.
Probably one of the best sides on paper in the comp, the Jaffas. They boast plenty of talent. Here's Luke Walker. Goes towards Aiden Bryce. Near to this sideline. Brody Taylor, lovely ball to Keanu Moore. Good tackle from Davidson, but it ricochets wide to Taylor. Gets around Tommy Smart, but his ball in wasn't one of his best. Keanu Moore has been wonderful for Edgeworth today. Lovely touches and skill getting around and causing all sorts of problems for Lampton at the back. Here's Holtz across the ground. Palozzi with a bump off Holtz. Copped a bit of a bump, and Lampton with the free kick.
Yeah, Keanu Moore is a guy that he's one of Edgeworth's big game players. And he's going to be someone in the FFA Cup during the week. He's going to be there to lead them around.
Here's Palozzi. Remington back to Majorowski. Majorowski tried to, I thought Majorowski was trying to give Josh Evans a bit of a tug there. In the end, he went down, and Lampton win the free kick.
Yeah, Edgeworth aren't happy with that. I can understand why, but Majorowski's got some experience and he's just used it.
Used his little experience card there right on Josh Evans. Ben Smith yelling at his troops to get this wall set. Michael Sessions and Palozzi standing over it. Palozzi goes at it. He's already scored from one this afternoon. That one, not one of his best. Goes over, and Ben Smith with the goal kick.
Yeah, he's just hit that with his instep and let it rip. He's got a bit of slight wind assistance, I guess, coming mostly left to right. But, yeah, he's certainly in position to pull the trigger, and why not?
Josh Evans, rated at the beginning of the season as one of the best holding midfielders in the competition. Josh Evans is ball through. Sessions getting up. Little header down. Goes for McPherson. McPherson goes to Majorowski. Lovely little touch towards McPherson. Majorowski again. And Josh Evans puts it over the sideline. There's beautiful skill there from Majorowski. Little slight touch trying to get Pete McPherson away down the right. And had it been someone like Luke Remington, he may have been able to get down to the byline and put in a cross.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's the ability of Majorowski to be able to do that sort of thing, especially when it's wet. His real skill will naturally shine through, and he's got those sort of touches about him. It's not just about him scoring goals. He's in position to get other people in range.
Here's a throw down the line. Brad Swancott getting across and takes it into his 18. And I'll just hold it up for a touch. Almost 38 and a half gone in the first half out here today at Arthur Eden Oval, the home of the Lambton Jaffas. Second place in the competition against Edgeworth, who are leading the NPL in northern New South Wales after 15 rounds. Palozzi down the right-hand side and going up the line with Pat Willis. Been sort of a curse this year, Chris. The side that's led the competition has got to the front and then sort of stalled. We saw Broadmeadow being starting the season wonderfully, and then all of a sudden they hit a roadblock 7 7 matches in, and then the same thing happened to Hamilton after they beat Broadmeadow. We had the 2 weeks off due to the FFA Cup, and then Hamilton came back out of the break and really struggled. Here's Luke Remington going down the left side and Edgeworth with the free kick. So
it's interesting that you say that because, there's some different theories on all of this. Broadmeadow's probably been training since September, October last year, and pretty much when the season stops, whereas Lambton, maybe they didn't start till late January, I guess, at maybe twice a week. So, depending on how you think.
When the training's begun, Broadmeadow, it's been interesting to see what really happened. They started so well and then all of a sudden they were struggling to get the results, although they were probably unlucky. They had a match against Western, they went down 4-3.
Yeah, look, there's not much in this, to be honest, and sometimes winning and getting a couple of wins is everything, and then like Broadmeadow, you get that little stall, and then, when it's so tight, it can go against you.
Yeah, Edgeworth, their form over the last 6 weeks, 2 losses and 4 wins. For Lampton, 5 wins and 1 draw. Charlestown have had a really good run the last 2 matches. They didn't play last week. They had 2 wins in a row. Adamstown as well had a good run through the middle of the competition, but then had a couple of losses. Ball across the far side of the ground, and Brad Swancott will have another goal kick for Lampton.
Yeah, this back end of the year, the games are really important now. We can see the game with Maitland and Adamstown. Adamstown are pushing for a semi-final spot, whereas Maitland really want to take this game today, so just get them off, give them a bit of comfort away from the last place position. So it'll be a cracker at Cook Square this afternoon, and windy just quietly.
Yeah, we're up there. I've only been up there once this season. That was the match against Western, and it was very windy up there, and it makes it hard to play. There was the game against Edgeworth a few weeks ago. It was a very windy day. Here's Dylan Holtz with some space in front of him for Edgeworth. He steps it back on his right, hits the shot, and Dylan Holtz scores. His wife had a baby yesterday, and he'll celebrate that one with a beautiful goal into the top right corner.
Well, he can put that one straight in the top shelf, can't he? And then isn't that the best baby present you can give him?
Beautiful strike from Dylan Holtz. Doesn't get much better than that, Chris.
Look, the composure is to turn his man on the inside there and come and create the space to pretty much have a free shot at Swancott. He's finished that particularly well, and again, nothing Swanee could do about that one either.
He had a chance. He had a chance earlier on, an easier one than that, and just couldn't get on the end of it that time. He absolutely nailed it.
Well, if you've been missing goals in the previous weeks, you've got them today.
Yep, and I think we've got plenty more to come as charging down that right-hand side is Riley McNaughton. He's got Majorowski on the inside, stepping off his left and right, and it goes over the byline.
We said at the beginning of the game, this one had potential to be one of the better games of the season. You know what we've seen so far, it's up there for me.
I wasn't so sure. I was saying it could be one of the biggest games of the year, but we had a top-of-the-table clash earlier in the year. Hamilton played Edgeworth. It was just so dead. It was just no energy. It was lifeless. But today, we've got all that in 1v2 is Keanu Moore charging after it.
Well, we've got, the situation where there's a fair bit on the lines for the teams. Edgeworth want to win the premiership and Lampton can do the same thing. So it's really important on which way the result goes.
I think really if you look at the top 4, once you get to the finals, it doesn't matter in terms of where you finish. Here's Brodie Taylor getting to the 18. Brodie Taylor with a shot across goal. Brad Swancott did really well to shield it, and it goes over the goal line.
Yeah, he's done enough
Just
to
a
put him
goal
off
kick.
there. I think if he stayed on his line, it would give him a little fraction more time to throw a leg at it.
Near thing, Edgeworth. Just turning it up a bit here. Yeah, that top 4 really, Chris, it doesn't matter where you finish in the top 4. You're going to have a home and away leg, and then it's all up for grabs in those matches. It's really trying to get into the top 4.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. In this country, we value the grand final. That's kind of our pinnacle. But don't get me wrong, both of these clubs want the minor premiership more than anything, and that's what they're playing for here today. You'd be pretty comfortable to think both these teams are going to be in the top 4, unless something drastic went wrong. But these guys are after the premiership.
Well, Trevor Morris said last week he values the minor premiership very highly because it means you were the best side over the 18 rounds of the competition. So that's very important to him, and as you said, very important to most of the competition. Here's Matt Jarosky. If he got the ball over to Wheelhouse, there was a big chance for Lampton. It's over to Wheelhouse now. Controls it nicely. Goes across, chipping ball over the top. Cam Hughes gets on it and knocks it over the sideline. Tom Smart with the throw, so some pressure being built here by Lampton. They're going to have to retake the throw. We've got a couple of balls on the pitch.
And I completely agree with Trevor Morris as well. He's right. You put in the hard work pre-season, week in, week out, and you are the most consistent. And it does mean a lot.
Throw going Edgeworth's way. The sideline official had his flag up. Play continued, but referee's seen that now. It's going to be, yes, it is going to be a throw down in the corner. So just before half-time, Edgeworth with a 2-1 lead. 10 seconds left of regulation time in the first half. Davidson goes up. Header over the top, Aiden Bryce. Brody Taylor was after it. Sort of pulled out, and Swancott throws it over the sideline. And Kevin Davidson, I believe, who's down, flew in and went down.
Well, we've got a quick break. We've congratulations earlier. We also had Justin Tannock from Edgeworth, who got married in Thailand about a week and a half ago to his new wife, Orla. They're back home and expect to see him back in the action over the next week or so.
He's had a good season this year as Justin. He scored 4 goals this season in 2015 and played for Cahibah last year. What was the go with him moving from Cahibah up to Edgeworth?
Well, he's come straight out of the Murwillumbah Team of the Century. You may not have known that one.
I didn't know that.
He moved back to Newcastle. I know Justin really well. He actually is working with us, and he just came back sort of a bit late after the season started and came to join over at Cahibah. What he's done since then is he's worked really hard on his fitness. He probably wasn't quite there at the beginning of the year, but he's worked his way into real contention. This guy, he's a real big game player, and I expect for him to figure prominently throughout the final series. And I won't be surprised to see him, at Zane's discretion to get a start in the FFA Cup match as well.
Yeah, that one in a couple of weeks. Not next week, but the week after they're playing Melbourne City. That'll be a cracker at Magic Park. Try and get along to that one. But this isn't good news. Kevin Davidson's still on the ground. Got flattened. It was right in front of us here, but we've got a dugout in front of us, so didn't quite see his impact with the ground.
Yeah, it seems to be an issue with his lower left leg, I believe.
I think, Chris, if the decision is made to bring him off, which I'm pretty sure it will, Michael Williams you'd expect would go on, and this is what happened 2 weeks ago. Grant Brown was injured. Michael Williams came on for him, so it's a bit disappointing because that way you don't get to see we're going into half-time. Referee's called half-time. It is a bit disappointing when you see a defender get injured for Lampton because you don't quite get to see those 3 attacking weapons that they've got on the bench.
Yeah, but you've got to see what's coming in Mickey Williams. He's a real dynamo. We were talking about him before. I actually worked with his mother, so I've kept a bit of interest in him, over the last year or 2 or 3, in fact. And Lambton won't lose too much by him coming on. I'll give you that hot tip.
So Edgeworth with a 2-1 lead at half-time will come back after half-time and go through, or we'll check on Kevin Davidson and check how he's doing. Chris, what were your thoughts firstly on the first 45 minutes out there today?
Yeah, it's been a cracker, and if you're going to come and watch a game of football locally, this is the one to come and see. Early in the piece, Edgeworth were really on the back foot with Lampton holding a good field possession, and then it kind of tipped away a little bit, and then we got a goal. And that changed the pace of the game, and since then it's been fairly high tempo ever since. We're at the point of the year where both teams can go hard for the full hour and a half, so I'm looking forward to the next 45.
Yeah, it was a cracker, that one too, that got Edgeworth underway. Aiden Bryce, Dylan Hulse, and for Lampton it was Alex Palozzi with a wonderful free kick that got it back to 1-1. But it's 2-1 at half-time. Edgeworth with the lead over Lampton here at Arthur Eden Oval this afternoon. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the second half action.
guys, real sport, Bar TV.
Australia's leading sports organisations have made a pledge to tackle youth binge drinking.
Now when you're watching your favourite sports, like football,
Swimming, basketball,
Netball,
and athletics.
you'll see this logo.
it's all about coming together to have a positive influence on our drinking culture.
We're strong enough to say enough.
And you can be too.
Back your judgment.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Be the influence.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could.
This is for the players. For those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are. For everyone who has triumphs, tips and tricks to share.
And for those who love to play with complete freedom, this is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players. This is PS4.
Hello and welcome back to the second half here at Arthur Eden Oval. It's Edgeworth with a 2-1 lead over Lambton, just about to get underway. Kevin Davidson's just been taken from the ground, and I'm just scanning. It's Michael Williams who has gone in. He's playing left centre back. So you were talking about how great a player he is, Chris, and how good a talent he is for the future. So it'll be interesting to see as the second half gets underway.
Yeah, I mean, look, as I mentioned before, he's only 17 years old, and it's going to be a real test for him because this is a big game today, and there's no room for error.
Came up through the Jets youth system. Only his first year at Lampton, so he'll, as you said, he'd get into most backlines of many of the sides in the NPL quite easily, but he's decided to come to Lampton, and we were saying in the first half they boast one of the best team sheets in the competition, best lineups. There's across the ground, Aaron McLaughlin with the header.
Yeah, and this guy's only going to get better as he gets stronger and he physically matures. He's definitely looking very fit.
Aiden Bryce goes down the left-hand side. Takes on Michael Sessions, who goes down. Cuts back on the inside, Aiden Bryce. And Edgeworth are going to get a free kick. In a good position. Dylan Holt's trying to take it quickly. I think it's best if he just holds on and gets set and see if Edgeworth can create something from this free kick.
Yeah, there's no real reason to go quickly there. That you can see Swancott was in position, and he's not in a great strike zone.
It's going to be Pasquale. He's looking on his right foot. Not one of his best efforts. Gee, got that one horribly wrong, did Lockie Pasquale.
Yeah, he looked like he was trying to put a little bit of right to left whip on it, and it's got a westerly blowing behind him, and just didn't work out. He has been fairly impressive though, Pasquale. He's been playing some good football.
Now, one thing I have to say, Chris, is you will be picking the man of the match today. The person that I'm commentating with does the man of the match duties, tells me who they thought was man of the match. Last week we had Ryan Clark, who was our man of the match from Maitland. Had a great game last week. Came from Western Australia, actually. I was doing some research. He left one of the sides in Western Australia to come across and play for Maitland.
Yeah, I'd never met him before, but people that I know him saying what a great pickup he is and a great addition to the squad.
Here's Joe Wheelhouse with the free kick. Just chips it forward towards Palozzi. Control of his right, but it went to Pat Wheeler. Turns around and goes down. Referee saying that it's going to be a free kick to Edgeworth. Delayed reaction, really. Waited a long time before he blew the free kick, but it's going to be Cam Hughes that is going to take it just outside his 18-yard box. Wheelhouse goes back to Michael Williams. Sessions. Oh, Edgeworth flying in on Sessions. 3 players in there.
Again, slightly slippery conditions, and he was just too slow to get that one away.
Tommy Smart over the top. Luke Remington, one of the quickest players in the competition, onto it. Goes down the left side, but Edgeworth did well to keep him wide there. Yeah, many say one of the quickest, if not the quickest in the competition, Luke Remington. Played for the Jets youth and also for the Australian under-17s team at the 2011 World Cup against Denmark. And scored a goal in that one. So scored in the 89th minute, levelled that one up, and they went through to the playoffs in that particular competition, where I think they were beaten 4-0 by Uzbekistan, if I remember correctly. As he goes, and Edgeworth counting more after that one. Sessions goes to Palozzi, but he was offside, and the free kick goes to Edgeworth. Just 4 minutes gone in the second half, or 49 in the match, and it's Edgeworth leading by 2-1. Goal scorers were Aiden Bryce and Dylan Holtz for Edgeworth, and Alex Palozzi from the free kick in the first half for Lampton. Got it back to 1-1. Lampton now with a free kick. What have they got to do differently, Chris, in the second half, Lampton, to get the wood over Edgeworth?
Look, if it was me in there at halftime, what I'd be saying is I want my big game players on the ball more often. It is windy, it's a bit slippery, but you got to get your Jobs and your Pete McPhersons on the ball as often as you can and in good field position. So what have they got to do different? They've got to change where they're playing, so they've got to play in their end of the park, and they've got to get their big guns on the ball.
Riley Norton going over the top, but Dylan Holt's doing some work at the back now. Grant Brown getting down there. I don't know whether that's going to hit on the roof just ahead of us. Thought it was coming straight for the commentary box.
And just as we say that, Jobs just played a fantastic little ball over the top.
Grant Brown, well, I honestly thought it should have been a free kick to Lampton there, but referee goes Edgeworth's way. Grant Brown not impressed, but Ben Smith will have the free kick. No, he won't. Well, he does. He goes short to Josh Evans. Goes up the ground. Michael Williams with the header. Down towards Luke Walker. Wheelhouse trying to get a little tug on him and wins the free kick. What do you know about Josh Evans? He's been a great player for Edgeworth this year in the matches that I've seen. Scored in their last match they played against Hamilton that we had. Aiden Bryce now on the ball and goes through. Keanu Moore turning and looking down the line, but comes off Thomas Martin over the sideline.
Yeah, I think Josh he works for the RAF, and he's been away for a couple of weeks with work, and then I think last week I was told he pulled out in the warm-ups. I don't know what was wrong with him there. I think they might have said he was something wrong with his leg. But yes, he's certainly a good footballer and good pick-up for them for sure.
Edgeworth with that 2-0 loss to Adamstown last week, who were up 2-0 at half-time, we should mention. 2-0 at half-time. Adamstown with the lead up at Cook Square Park.
Yeah, I've got one of the goal scorers through, which was Nick Bale.
He's been a great player for Adamstown the last couple of years as Nick Bale. Scored plenty of goals for them as Brodie Taylor trying to get around the Lampton defence. And it is going to be a goal kick. Brad Swancott going down, and we'll take that one for Lampton.
So,
you go.
The opposite end, I was going to say Ben Smith seems to have been moving okay through the game so far with his hamstring, so hopefully he can stay within himself. I mean, the problem the goalkeepers have got is you're really only calling into action every now and again, so if he gets explosive.
Keanu Moore, nice skill there, just probably second touch a little bit heavy, Brad Swancott.
So his big risk is when he gets called into action quickly, and if he has to jump or move, his hamstring could be put under a bit of pressure. But yeah, he seems to be okay so far.
Jake Fairhall played last week after he was injured. He's the under-19s keeper, so he's had to step up the last couple of weeks. So he's on the bench for Edgeworth this afternoon. Sessions goes wide to Grant Brown. Him and Palozzi seem to be alternating on this right side. Palozzi dropping back, and then Grant Brown going forward. Here's Wheelhouse turning around. Still Wheelhouse going down the right-hand side, but he got a little bit too heavy a touch and over the sideline. That top four as it stands, Edgeworth up the top 30, Lampton 28 points, Hamilton 27, and Western on 26. Next weekend on Bar TV, it's Sunday, and it's Hamilton taking on Western out at Darling Street. Here is Keanu Moore on the ball. Got plenty of space in front of him. Lovely ball back. Keanu Moore with the shot. Brad Swancott, great save.
Good
corner
strike
kick for Edgeworth.
Great strike and a great save there. And geez, this guy, he's really putting himself in positions to score. He looks the goods. He's got great ball control. His head's always up and looking. And in that case, it was just his turn to have a strike. And what a good hit he's had.
It was wonderful in the opening half for Edgeworth. Keanu Moore and Aaron McLaughlin getting across. He'll take the corner, left-footed. So perfect for the in-swinger. The wind favouring him, but goes high. Luke Walker with the header. Away. Aiden Bryce. It's up for him. He has a shot and blasts it over. Well, that surely defied physics that ball went over.
You can see he was just leaning back into that one. He was just leaning and stretching just a fraction, which caused him to lift it. Good opportunity, though.
Had he not lifted, I think it was sailing into the back of the net. He's going so quick it might have gone through. Swancott over the top. Josh Evans. Now Dylan Holtz putting one over the top. Keanu Moore after it. Sessions gets back. Luke Walker and Joe Wheelhouse, again, they've had a battle all afternoon in the middle of the park. Grant Brown, back for Luke Walker again. He goes down, and a good position here for Edgeworth, a free kick. So just a moment ago, I was talking about next weekend's game. It's Western take on Hamilton on Bar TV next Sunday. So 3rd versus 4th as it stands, but those two have got some big matches tomorrow. Big chance for Edgeworth here, Chris, to extend their lead.
Sure, these are positions you like to be in when you're going to strike on goal. You've got, it's a little bit swirly, the wind, and he's definitely within range.
Here we go, Aidan Bryce. He's the only one standing over it, so it'll be him to take it. Goes low, went under the wall really, and Brad Swancott did well.
Didn't sound like the cleanest of strikes, that one. He might be a fraction disappointed with that.
Over the sideline, and Edgeworth really been chopping and changing their set piece takers. They had Lockie Pasquale a moment ago. They've had Aaron McLaughlin from the corners, and then Aidan Bryce for that one there. So it seems like they're not set on someone to take their set pieces for them.
You know, it's not a bad thing either, because when you're mixing it up like that, it keeps the keepers guessing. And you know what? Sometimes if you've got someone who's just confident, let them go.
Nathan Morris for Western, he takes all their set pieces. So I was questioning what's going to happen when he does decide to hang up the boots, which I don't think is too far away. He's getting on Nathan Morris, and Western are going to have to find themselves another star like Nathan Morris is.
Yeah, when you've got an out-and-out dead ball specialist like him, you let him go every time, because if it doesn't go in, it's going to go close. But I think, just like in most teams, there's a lot of guys with their hands up wanting to have a crack, and so I'm sure Western will find someone. They'll be okay.
Here's Grant Brown going down. Dylan Holtz after him. Gave him a little push in the back, but the referee obviously didn't think much of it. And Aaron McLaughlin with a throw.
Dave Tanch wasn't overly excited by that decision.
Yeah, well, the sideline official in front of us actually had his flag up. The referee just didn't see him.
I think I heard somewhere through the week that Tanchevsky's going to stay on here for another couple of years, which is really good for the club. I think he's done fantastically well, and I've known Dave for quite a few years now, and he's coached, in ID1s, he's coached in the 2nd division, he's coached here, so he hasn't just kind of walked into this thing. He's earned his spot, and he's done a terrific job, and continues to do so.
And of course, winning the NPL last year, the inaugural, as it says on the far side, the first NPL competition in northern New South Wales last season. Lambton Jaffas with the victory.
Yeah, look, you know what? He's done well in each of the leagues that he's coached in. When he coached in the ID1s, I actually coached against him in that competition, and they won a premiership there. And then he's in 2nd division. He won a premiership there, so they got promoted. And they've done well since. So I think it's great news that Lambton have got him here for another couple of years for sure.
Yeah, that's right. They were talking about being a bit busy with the work commitments, but that's all been sorted out. Here's Keanu Moore. He's got some more space. Hits it. Brad Swancott again, left-handed. And now he gets across, dives on the ball, and now he flicks it chopstick style over towards the sideline.
We've just seen it all there from
That's
Swanee.
That's play of the day. Crowd giving him a standing ovation.
That's quality, Swanee. All jokes aside. Jokes aside, Swancott, he's one of those players that is able to play with his feet. He can play. He's almost like an extra sweeper for you, and come up and clean it up like that. You can be reasonably confident that he's going to get it away for you.
I'm just assuming he's right-handed. I'm being a bit. I'm just saying a majority of people are right-handed, so I'm going what a save, left-handed especially. I don't know if he is left or right-handed. Do you know?
I should. I think he is left-handed. I know
he is left-handed. All right.
He plays golf left-handed.
Oh, all right. So it's not as good as what I was first thinking. Oh, these two on the ground, McLaughlin and Grant Brown, and the free kick goes Edgeworth's way.
And even if he's not left-handed, when he plays golf, he puts his left hand. He does play right-handed golf, and he puts his left hand under his right hand, so it's kind of crossover. So he does weird things to Swanee.
Here's Brodie Taylor. Maybe he's ambidextrous. Here's Keanu Moore squaring it back. Gets
Oh,
bumped off.
That's close.
Gee, Joe Wheelhouse and Keanu
That
Moore.
is really close. I'm not sure.
Joe Wheelhouse gave Keanu Moore a big shove as he was on the ground there. So
Damien Zane's out of his box and probably with some fair reason.
here's Riley McNaughton. Gee, he was lucky to get away with that. Joe
Yeah,
Wheelhouse
it'd be
on
good to have
Keanu
another look at
Moore.
that one because he's gone down and it didn't look like it was on his own.
Well, Keanu Moore didn't retaliate at all. I really didn't think he did that much wrong, Keanu Moore. He got bumped over by Wheelhouse, and then Wheelhouse gave him a little bit of another bump for his troubles while he was on the ground. So,
So
15,
we've got Jamie Burns coming on.
Alex Palozzi. 15 gone in the second half. It's Edgeworth still with the 2-1 lead. Played for South Cardiff last year and Hamilton at the start of this year before transferring over, Chris.
Yeah, he did. And I've been watching Jamie Burns since he's about 17 years old. Know him personally, and I think that he's one of those players that, gee, I tell you what, I'd like to have him on my side. And Lampton have got the luxury of having him on the bench at the moment. But this guy's got some really good ability on the football in terms of being able to run at speed. He's a quality finisher, and he also can put other people in position to score.
Majorowski was looking for McNaughton, but Pasquale read it really well, and Keanu Moore now on the ball. Pete McPherson went flying to the ground. He's been pretty quiet today, Pete McPherson.
He has. He sort of popped his way in about 20 minutes into the first half. He started to get himself about a little bit more, but now he sort of just settled in, and I haven't seen too much of him. And as I said before, he's a guy that you want on the ball as much as you can, because when he gets on the ball, he creates opportunities.
Here's Palozzi.
Majorowski, yep.
I should say Majorowski. Palozzi's come from the ground. Here is looking for Remington. And Edgeworth with another free kick. They've got a few decisions going their way in the last few moments, apart from the penalty shout. They've had a majority of free kicks in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, you were speaking earlier about Edgeworth having a 4 and a holding 2, 1 in top of that, and then they're playing 3 up front. I mean, if you like, you can still call that a 4-3-3. It's just not flat. Lambton playing with a flat 4-3-3, and have been earlier in the game. Interesting to see how that's starting to pan out now. The guys at this point in the game, you can have the ability to go a little bit flat, or you can have the ability to, or the game can go in a way that's going to shape up pretty quickly in terms of its pace. It doesn't seem to be doing that just right now.
Luke Walker now looked for Dylan Holtz on the left. Couldn't find him. Well intercepted by Grant Brown. McPherson, nice ball to Sessions. McNaughton back to McPherson. Lovely touch from Majorowski wide to Tom Smart. He was looking for Jamie Burns, but didn't really get too much under it. Keanu Moore, Holtz, looked for Aidan Bryce. Aaron McLaughlin now on the ball for Edgeworth. Chipping one over the top. Brad Swancott going after it. He'll bring it back inside his own 18 now. Well, it could be 3 or 4-1 to Edgeworth. He has saved the day on more than one occasion for Lampton this afternoon.
Yeah, the couple that have gone in, he's nothing to do with him. No one's going to stop them.
Oh, 2 wonderful strikes, 2 strikes. A volley. Here's Remington down the left-hand side. Getting away from Pat Wheeler, squared back. And corner kick now for Lampton. So some pressure being built. We were talking about how, I shouldn't say I actually lost the ball. Here's Tom Smart. Wasn't a corner. It was Sessions now on the ball. McPherson. Aidan Bryce now. Now here's Michael Sessions. Riley McNaughton. Getting away from some Edgeworth defence. Here's Riley McNaughton. Plays it wide. Jamie Burns. Know how quick he is. He brings it down to the line, cuts it back, and Ben Smith jumps out and takes it nicely. I was just saying a moment ago, we know how potent the Lampton bench, Bridges, Jamie Burns, Huck and Carnley. But the Edgeworth bench as well, they've got some of their best players on the bench. Brenton Olsemer, Aaron Pritchard as well. Brenton Olsemer and Bren Hamill scored plenty of goals between them. Bren Hamill with 2 and Brenton Olsemer with 5. So 7 goals between them this season.
Yeah, and don't forget they've got Justin Tannock to come back in. And I'm not sure how many goals he's got, but he
He's
tells
got
me it's...
four this year.
Yeah, well, he's probably had 4 starts and he's scored 4 times. But, they've got him to come back in as well. So both sides got high quality on their benches at the moment.
Here's Pat Wheeler now. Back for Edgeworth. Hayden Bryce looking for Brodie Taylor, but Brad Swantcott just stays inside his 18 and does well. How long until you think we'll see Michael Bridges back out there? He's been doing a lot of work with Channel 9.
Yeah, thanks for knocking him back to put me on too, by the way. Probably a little in the later stages, I would imagine, especially on a day that's a bit heavier. You don't want him out there for an hour or 40 minutes, 45 if he's been, maybe missing training, whatever.
Well, he would have had to fly back this morning, I would have thought, because I didn't watch the game last night, but he probably would have been commentating, I'm pretty sure, Man City and Real Madrid. So it's not that long a flight back from Melbourne. I think it's about 40 minutes, is it?
It's about an hour and 10.
An hour and 10.
Yeah.
There you go. 40 minutes, that would be to Sydney, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
back post.
Right, yeah.
Sydney, you get on, you go up in the air, and then all of a sudden you're descending again and got to put your seatbelt back on. Ben Smith.
Yeah, Ben's not going to take any goal kicks today with a hamstring like that.
Pat Wheeler. Well, Heidelberg will be flying up in the next couple of days. They've got Broadmeadow Magic on Tuesday night, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. Here's Brodie Taylor. Got some pressure on him. Sessions still with Keanu Moore. Diving in there was Grant Brown. He made a good tackle, won the ball. Plays it wide to Remington. Luke Remington cutting inside. Goes to Wheelhouse.
And he's just got genuine pace, Remington, hasn't he?
Here's Jamie Burns down the right-hand side. All of a sudden, some pressure now for Lampton. And his cross, not the best effort, straight over the byline. And unfortunately, that's what happens when you come straight onto the ground. Sometimes you just need to warm up those skills a little bit when you've been sitting on the bench for probably the first 60 minutes or so of this one.
Yeah, you'd like to think Jamie's come in prepared. I think mentally he's always ready for me. I like the way he goes about, his business. But that one he will be a bit disappointed with because he needs to get something that's in scoring range and didn't give his teammates any chance there.
Pat Wheeler, Luke Walker over the top, and McPherson now with the header. Josh Evans goes high up into the breeze. Grant Brown does well with the header. Holtz up the line for Brodie Taylor. Turns down in the corner. The Edgeworth players coming back to the bench now, so you think a few changes about to be made for them. Pat Wheeler now. Goes to Luke Walker. Runs into the referee. Wasn't impressed at all, Luke Walker. Referee got right in his way. Hulse. Looking wide for Aiden Bryce. Smart going after him. Just keeps it inside on the far side, but the throw will go to Lampton. Up the line now, Remington. Keeps it inside, got a bump from Hughes, and Lampton get the free kick. Just over halfway into the second half, 68 minutes, and we're into the 68th minute. Well, 68 gone now. 2-1 Edgeworth with the lead. For Edgeworth, it was Hulse and Aiden Bryce. And for Lampton, Alex Palozzi, who's gone from the ground. Sessions diving in, and he gets a yellow card for his troubles there. Michael Sessions, Edgeworth with the free kick. Bit of frustration now for Lampton on the bench in front of us, Chris.
Yeah, you can see that. And what they were saying there, Dave Tanch saying, he wanted the first one pulled up. If that one didn't happen, Sessions doesn't go as strong as he did.
Here's McLaughlin across the ground. Pasquale over the top. Grant Brown goes down the line. McPherson. And the free kick, I should say, go Lampton's way. Going to play it on here. That was a bit strange. Did he give the free kick or did he call advantage to Lambton. Here's another Lambton player going down.
Look, I missed that. Didn't see what happened, so I turned away looking at the injured player.
Well, Brody Taylor plays it wide for Holtz. It's still a Lambton player. It's Remington on the ground. We'll go back to the play. Aiden Bryce puts it into the side netting. Surprised Edgeworth didn't put it out. Remington was on the ground for a period of time. Hucken Carnley's going down down Lambton's end of the ground, or the end that they're shooting at, doing a bit of a warm-up. So we'll see if it's going to be him or Michael Bridges. They've only got the one substitution left.
Yeah, and Harkin Canley's a great footballer too. He's had some time at Broadmeadow and been a great player for them. Been successful with them, and be able to pull that sort of guy off the bench at this time in the game is a real bonus to the team. They're probably getting to that part of the game now where there's about 20 to go, maybe a bit less, that they need to start making an impact.
Well, here's Pasquale on his right foot, that far side of the ground. A revolving door of free kick set piece takers for Edgeworth continues. Another one, not one of his best, straight over the byline. It's going to be Bren Hamill to come on now for Edgeworth. He's one of their regular free kick takers, so
put him in the mix as well. Why not?
That's right. Here's Lockie Pasquale, who's going to come from the ground. And Bren Hamill is going to go on 2 goals this year, 7 last year. Goes onto the ground.
Yeah, Bren's a good footballer, good quality footballer, and he comes in at a great time of the game for Edgeworth because he's someone that can settle things down a little bit, and he knows how to stroke it around and take control. He
was sent off last time these two sides met. He was sent off in about the 31st minute. 0-0 at that point, but Lampton, Edgeworth in the end got the job done 2-1. Matt Juroski skating clear of a few challenges, and then a great clearance. Matt Juroski not happy at all, but the free kick goes Edgeworth's way.
Rod Allen's been asked this question.
Matt Juroski is absolutely livid. I haven't seen him quite this frustrated on the ground before.
Yeah, it's one of those things. He's not going to change his mind. All Madge's got to do is now put that one behind him and just let it go. You can see he's clearly frustrated, but it's not going to change anything.
Here's Wheeler.
He'll get on with it from now.
Here's Brent Hamill. Brent Hamill cutting on the inside. Comes off a Lampton boot, but was unintentional, and Brad Swancott grabs it off the deck and knocks it up the ground. Madjurowski, once again, great with his head. Tried to flick it on towards Jamie Burns. Remington getting across the ground. Goes back to Williams. Over the top, Brody Taylor. Still Brody Taylor. Tried to get inside Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse did well. Williams back to Joe Wheelhouse. McNaughton now. Squares it for McPherson. Nice touch to Madjurowski. Played it back for Grant Brown. McPherson again, great close control. And Ben Smith, off that long ball, goes straight to him, and Lampton just unable to build too much pressure at the moment. Chris Edgeworth doing well to keep them out.
Yeah, I think what Lampton need to do is they need to get down in their attacking end. They've got to create some opportunities pretty soon, and where they are now in this type of field position is exactly what they're after.
Wheelhouse down the left-hand side now for Lampton. Gets a bit of a bump from Brody Taylor and wins the free kick. Good position for Lampton. Wheelhouse, I'm thinking Joe Wheelhouse will probably take this one for them. No one else is coming over. And it's the perfect side for him. Try and curl this one towards the back post.
Yeah, striking the ball into the wind is going to give him some more purchase. So he'll be looking to put some right to left onto this one, so it naturally gets the touch towards goal.
Here he is. Joe Wheelhouse on his right foot, goes low and hard. Ben Smith, good save. Corner for Lampton. Wheelhouse again running over. Edgeworth still with the 2 changes. Lampton just with the 1 to make. Wheelhouse, not one of his best corners, off the inside of his boot and straight over the goal line. Just those other scores while we've got a break in play. 3-all in the under-22s, and in the under-19s it was 2-1 to Edgeworth. That last score we got from the other game, Adamstown with a 2-0 lead over Maitland up at Cook Square Park. Edgeworth another free kick. Just over 15 to go. Edgeworth leading by 2-1. No change in the halftime score here at Arthur Eden Oval.
Getting the updates from Maitland from Anthony Richards, former long-term coach of Maitland.
And the assistant coach at the moment for them. He coached Adamstown as well for a period of time. Bit of a connection there between Adamstown and Maitland. Of course, Graham Law went from Maitland to Adamstown in the off-season. Here goes Brodie Taylor down the right-hand side. Michael Williams across there. And free kick goes Edgeworth's way. Bren Hamill, you would think, is probably going to take this one. He's walking across now. They haven't made the most of their chances from set pieces this afternoon, so we'll see. It's going to be Aaron McLaughlin who's going to take it. So it's not going to be Bren Hamill, but it is on his preferred left foot on that side. So,
and again, the same thing. He's going to be looking for some left to right. So it naturally goes goalward bound if someone gets a touch on it.
So here we go, Aaron McLaughlin. Little touch and over. It's come off a Lampton player. So corner kick, Aaron McLaughlin will take this one for them. Whips it in. Nice nodded away. McLaughlin with the pressure on him, and Lampton now with the throw on the far side of the ground.
Anthony Richards said he'd be happy to send messages or updates with the scores. He's a big Bar TV follower. He was telling me last week he was in Brisbane sitting on the side of a hill over the bank. His wife was asking what he's watching. It was Bar TV. Sunny afternoon up in Brisbane.
I'm sure he was enjoying it as well. It was a good result for Maitland last week against Western. They got a point out of the game, and with the 10 men as well. They were Corey Fletcher was sent off about, it would have been 20, 30 minutes into the game. Lashed out at one of the Western players on the ground, and it was a very disappointing way to be sent off, really.
Yeah, I mean, great result for Maitland for sure, but disappointing for Corey. He's a guy. Look, could you say it was out of character? Maybe, maybe not. It's just he gets so passionate about his game. He will do anything to help the cause of the team.
And that's what happens, unfortunately, when you get on the field, get that rush of adrenaline. Well, I thought there was a handball over there on that far side. Michael Williams, it was. Numbers hard to see, mate, with the yellow shirts and the white on yellow. A bit hard to see on the far side of the ground. Keanu Moore down there for Edgeworth, and Lampton with the free kick.
Yeah, Corey will be disappointed with that, and especially that'll be you probably miss a couple of games, and he's one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet, and it's not in his nature. It's just like you say, once you get out over that white line, it can change things.
Aiden Bryce off Wheelhouse, and Keanu Moore will charge after this one. Grant Brown also down there. Gives him a little bump. Was all legal, but Bren Hamill with a very strong challenge. Now he's got some space in front of him. His shot wasn't one of his best, and Grant Brown is on the ground. His foot would have been crunched in that challenge.
Yeah, Brendan pulled out through there. He stayed committed to his tackle.
You heard the massive thud as Grant Brown's foot hit Bren Hamill's. There was nothing illegal about it at all. And this isn't going to be good for Lampton because if they have to make a change, they've got no other defensive players on the bench.
Yeah, this is where as a coach, you start thinking about, who is capable of playing, in your back line. What have you got to reshuffle? What have they got coming at you? We're at this stage of the game where, we've probably got about a bit over 10 minutes to go, so you can't hang back. So maybe you're going to change your shape. Maybe you're going to put someone in a position they're not used to, but that's just where it's got to go to at this point, And to be honest, why not? If you're behind, you're not going to get anything by nursing the rest of the game. You've really got to get after it. You can see, you can see the coaching staff over there now. They're debating what should happen.
Yeah, we'll have a little bit of stoppage time, you think, at the end of the second half. 2 injuries for Lambton. They haven't had much luck this afternoon on the injury front. Kevin Davidson came to the bench just a few moments ago with a bad limp. He had to be helped out by the physio, so it wasn't looking good. And they need the stretcher again here for Grant Brown. That's what the trainer's calling for.
Yeah, this is not good news for Lambton, really. I mean, they've been on a roll. If they were to lose today, they also lose a couple of players. So it's not...
And 2 defensive players as well.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be a part of their plan. I know Dave Tanch has been looking, at central defenders for the last year or two, and he's come up with some good options with Davidson. And then when Mick Sessions comes, from a left-sided role into the middle of the back, that was a real find for him, and he couldn't have been happier. So you're right. This defensive position they're in at the moment is not a great one, and it'll certainly test them out as far as all of their depth goes, because this is where you're going to have a look about your 22s and what's in there, and maybe your 19s, and where those guys are at and who's capable.
So Lambton, a bit of a committee meeting going on the sideline. You probably see bottom right corner. Brains Trust down there. Dave Tancheski, Roland Norton also down there.
Yeah, some coaches like to just make these decisions on their own, think it through themselves, and there's others like to talk it over. And, there's a great deal of trust going on between each other in their decision-making.
Well, Hucken Carnley's going to be the man to come on.
Substitution for Lambton Jaffas. Number 18, Hucken Carnley, replacing number 12, Grant Brown.
Grant Brown goes down into the Lambton Jaffas dressing room, so it'll be interesting to see what they do here, Lampton. Although they probably could have... Oh, this one's going to come towards our commentary position. Remington goes down, but they could probably go to 3 at the back, I think, Lambton. The fact they are down 2-1, so it's probably required at the moment. Would you say, Chris?
Yeah, you look, if you are, you're going to go man on man. For me, that's not a bad scenario.
He's Smart, looking for Hucken Carnley.
From a coaching point of view, what you're going to be saying to these guys, if you're going to go 3 at the back, we're just going to pick up one each and stay really close. If we end up with just 2v3 situation, one of them's got to sweep. It's as simple as that.
Well, Hucken Carnley played for the Australian futsal team earlier this year. He went to Belarus with Matt Houle, who scored. Matt Houle scored for the Australian futsal team. They finished last in their group, but would have been a great experience to go over there. Aaron McLaughlin getting the jump on Luke Remington there. Edgeworth just seem to be winning those 1%ers at the moment. They just seem to be winning the ball, and Brenton Olzheimer is about to come onto the ground for Edgeworth. Referee holding play up. So Olzheimer is going to come on, and Keanu Moore is going to come off now for Edgeworth. Smart with a throw down the line to Remington. Back to Wheelhouse. Getting in there is Brodie Taylor.
Yeah, you're right. Edgeworth have been in probably a fraction quicker, and we spoke about their mobility at the beginning of the game. They've been showing that. They don't even look like slowing down.
Here's McNaughton on the ball. Goes over the top towards Jamie Burns. Got plenty of pace out there, Lambton. So can they use it? Is Jamie Burns, he's got Hughes in front of him. Goes over the top and Wheeler heads it away out of danger towards McPherson. McPherson and Olsema came together and Edgeworth win the free kick. So a win today for Edgeworth takes them 5 points clear of Lambton, depending on the other results in the matches tomorrow. Hamilton and Western will determine whether they that lead is reduced or extended at the top of the ladder for Edgeworth. McPherson, Burns now. Carnley on the ball. Goes across to McNaughton. It's been intercepted by Dylan Holes. He's already scored this afternoon from Edgeworth. Sessions gave him a bit of a tug. And Edgeworth get the free kick. Another really delayed call from the referee there. The linesman had the flag up.
Yeah, I think he was just, Rod Allen was just letting the play develop a little bit and just see what was going to happen, if there was going to be any advantage or not. If there is, let it go and let him score. If there's not, pull it up as quick as you can. But that's the reason for his delay.
So Bren Hamill now. Saw him score against South Carter from this position. Alex Palozzi scored in the first half from about this position as well. So we'll see what he can come up with. Here he goes, Bren Hamill. Not one of his best. Brad Swancott wants to play on quickly.
Yeah, and Swancott was in position pretty early there as well. He if it was on target, would have been close to saving that one.
Looks for the tall man up front, Hucken Carnley. Brad Swancott there, but didn't get to him. McPherson. Now McNaughton. Carnley again. Hucken Carnley coming back on the inside. Josh Evans clears it up the ground and offside against Edgeworth. Against Olsema. Played for Berkeley Vale last year, did Brendan Olsema. McPherson. Across to Tom Smart. And a little bit too heavy. Ben Smith will take this one. Waste a little bit more time for Edgeworth. Let's Hucken Carnley come down to him. And 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go in regulation time. We'll probably have a bit of stoppage time for that injury from Grant Brown. Sessions goes up. Brodie Taylor stabs it up into the sky. Sessions. McPherson now. Pete McPherson with some space in the midfield. Started to get more involved in the last 10-15 minutes. Pete McPherson, McNaughton. Now from Sessions to Smart. Came all the way up through the Jaffas youth system. Did Riley McNaughton and Edgeworth another free kick. Wish we kept a record of the amount of free kicks both sides had this afternoon, because I think Edgeworth would have a fair few more than the Lampton this afternoon.
Yeah, and free kicks are more likely on, slipperier days, because people are going to be sliding around a bit more. It's going to be, a bit later here and there.
Here's Sessions. Across the ground. Hughes going back. Holtz. Carnley getting in there.
Saw a sign a few years ago it was a grand final sign with Harkin. Sign read, "Who can? Harkan." And I'm guessing that Lambton will be thinking that, open for that today.
Well, he played for Broadmeadow Magic for a few years before coming to Lampton at Hucken Carnley. I assume he would have played in a grand final winning side somewhere along the line for Broadmeadow. McNaughton have won plenty of competitions in the recent past. McPherson getting in quickly. And now for Smart. McPherson.
Yeah, he's had a great time at Broadmeadow. Broadmeadow have been just a real rock in this competition for a long time. The committee and the guys, the way that they run it, they're just high quality humans, and they also they really look after their people. I've saying that lightly. I had a couple of seasons there at Broadmeadow, and they look after their people. Once you're part of that family, you're always part of it.
Yeah, it's always great to head over to Broadmeadow. They very hospitable when we head over there all the time.
Yeah, and that's why players love to go play at that club, because they get really well looked after. I'm not saying that other clubs don't, because I know they do for sure, but Broadmeadow, there's just something special about the way they set themselves up.
Here's McNaughton down the line. Jamie Burns gets rid of Pat Wheeler. Comes back at him now towards the sideline. Still Jamie Burns. And off Aaron McLaughlin and over the sideline. So this is where Lambton have to strike. They're running out of time now. McNaughton with the throw. Looks like he's going to go long. No one short. Jamie Burns coming towards him now. He's going to go long. Headed into Wheelhouse. Backing away. Edgeworth. Is it been kept in by Majorowski? No, it hasn't. Ben Smith with the goal kick now for Edgeworth. Out of change. It's going to be Pritchard that's going to come on.
So we can expect some stoppage time here, I think.
Brodie Taylor comes off. Aaron Pritchard goes on. Brodie Taylor comes off for Edgeworth. Here's Pat Wheeler. Slips over there, Pat Wheeler, with the after the goal kick. Plenty of slipping and sliding going on this afternoon. Lambton with the free kick. Pritchard getting involved straight away for Edgeworth there, putting his body on the line. McNaughton goes across to Williams. Came on at the start of the second half after Kevin Davidson was injured. Ball down the line, not one of his best, and Edgeworth with the throw now. So Lambton really haven't created too many chances in the second half, have they, Chris?
No, they haven't. And said before, they really needed to be trying to get into the top third, their attacking third, as much as they can. And I think the lack of ball that Wheelhouse and McPherson have had in particular has probably made that be what it is.
Here's Wheelhouse. Cross to Majorowski, back to Wheelhouse. Luke Walker now getting his foot in. Tom Smart getting across. They haven't had a great record this year, Lambton, when they've been on Bar TV. I think the only win that I can remember them having was against the Jets Youth back in round one. Apart from that, they had a loss against Edgeworth, they had a loss against Western, and down again here, and they were all 2-1 losses. So there's something in the air. I don't know what it is. 2-1 against Western, 2-1 against Edgeworth last time they played them, and 2-1 again here. McLaughlin and McNaughton come together. Don't know who he's going to give the throw to here. It goes Edgeworth's way. Brent Hamill. And off Smart. Edgeworth, another throw for them. Into stoppage time in the second half. Edgeworth 2-1 up against Lambton away from home. Hamill. Back to Olzema. McPherson just got in there in time. Pritchard now. Tackle from McPherson. He gets a yellow card now, Pete McPherson.
You can see some real desperation in Pete's game at the moment. He knows how important this win is, and he's putting everything out there in this last 5 or 10 minutes.
Grant Brown now coming back to the bench. Very big limp he's got.
Yeah, he doesn't look in great shape at all.
Now
tended to by the physio.
Now Hughes going across. Pritchard. Carnley. Hacken Carnley now. Cross to Majorowski. There's some space on this near side for Remington if he can get it there. Goes to McNaughton. Still with McNaughton. Tancheski wanted him to go to Remington, but it's back to McNaughton. He goes down the line. Carnley. Some pressure on Aaron McLaughlin. Now Wheeler down the left-hand side. Still going Pat Wheeler. Plays it to Hamill. Back to Wheeler again. Now Pritchard and Lampton get the free kick. Probably one of the last rolls of the dice for them now. McPherson. Over the top. Sits up for Jamie Burns. Trying to hold off Cameron Hughes. Back to Remington. Squared back. Wheelhouse also in there. Desperate moments for Edgeworth at the back. And the referee calls a close to proceedings this afternoon. Edgeworth come to Arthur Eden Oval and get a 2-1 victory over Lampton to go 5 points clear up the top of the ladder. And Chris, really in the second half, bit stagnant, and both sides really didn't create many chances compared to the first 45.
Yeah, it was one of those games where possibly thought a few more goals were going to come in the second half because the game lends itself to that, but just didn't eventuate that way. But all in all, good quality game and some fantastic goals that have come out this afternoon.
Yeah, well, Edgeworth, they've had a great record over Lambton this year. 2-1 twice this season. These two, I'm almost certain, are going to meet somewhere in the finals. What have Lambton got to do if they want to beat Edgeworth?
Look, semi-finals and finals are a different game, but I think the short-term issue for Lambton is that they've got some injuries and they're needing to get those injuries sorted out, or at least a reshuffle in their lineup, and have a look what's in the 23s that's going to help them out as well. So they've got some short-term issues to deal with, and I'm sure their coach will be looking at those this week.
Now, just quickly, who is your man of the match for today's game?
Look, I can't go past Pat Wheeler today. I think that he's I rated the combination of Lambton's midfield to really take control, but I think this guy has put himself in position to really put a big stop to that. I think without him in there today, that might have been a different result. So it's a bit of a clear decision for me. That's where it's going to go.
So Pat Wheeler, our man of the match. Next week we've got Western taking on Hamilton at Darling Street Oval. That's next Sunday at 2:30. So change of day again, and then it'll be the final 2 rounds of the competition. We'll tell you which matches we've got then, and then Blake will be back round 17 and 18 and into the final series where we've got all the finals and the grand final live right here on Bar TV. So thanks for joining us again this afternoon. Until next week, it's goodbye from us.
Real guys, real sport. Bar TV.
Australia's leading sports organisations have made a pledge to tackle youth binge drinking.
Now when you're watching your favourite sports, like football,
Swimming, basketball,
Netball,
and athletics,
you'll see this logo.
it's all about coming together to have a positive influence on our drinking culture.
We're strong enough to say enough.
and you can be too.
Back your judgment.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Be the influence.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could.